For decades, the Jackson family has been one of the most famous families in entertainment history. From the rise of the Jackson 5 to the global success of Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson, their story has fascinated millions of people around the world. But alongside the fame, success, and music came endless rumors, speculation, and questions about the family's private life. For years, tabloids, television shows, and internet forums discussed everything from family relationships to inheritance disputes. Yet one topic continued to attract more attention than almost any other: DNA. As genetic testing became more advanced and widely available, many people began wondering whether science could answer questions that had fueled rumors for decades. Some believed DNA evidence would finally settle long-standing debates surrounding family connections, while others thought it might reveal secrets hidden from the public for years. Headlines claiming that DNA changed everything began appearing across the internet, creating the impression that shocking discoveries had completely rewritten the Jackson family story. But what did DNA actually reveal, and how much of the story was based on facts rather than speculation? To understand why this topic generated so much interest, it's important to recognize the unique position the Jackson family occupied in popular culture. Few families have experienced the level of fame, scrutiny, and public attention that followed the Jacksons for generations. Every relationship was analyzed. Every family disagreement became news. Every rumor spread across the world within hours. In this environment, even ordinary questions about family history could become major headlines. Over time, discussions about genetics became connected to broader conversations about identity, heritage, and family connections. Many people mistakenly assumed that DNA testing had uncovered dramatic secrets that transformed public understanding of the family. In reality, much of the attention came from speculation rather than verified discoveries. However, the growing role of DNA technology did influence how people thought about family relationships. Modern genetic testing can help researchers understand ancestry, biological relationships, and inherited traits. The science behind these tests is based on the genetic information passed from parents to children across generations. Every individual inherits part of their DNA from each parent, creating a biological record that can reveal connections between family members. The process is rooted in fundamental principles of genetics when discussing how traits and genetic information pass through families. These principles help explain why family members may share certain characteristics while still appearing very different from one another. As public understanding of genetics improved, many people began looking at famous families through a scientific lens. In the case of the Jackson family, this curiosity was amplified by decades of media attention. Rumors often spread faster than facts, and DNA became a powerful symbol of certainty in a world filled with speculation. Some reports suggested that genetic information could settle disputes regarding family relationships. Others claimed that hidden family secrets would finally be exposed. Yet despite sensational headlines, most of the dramatic claims lacked credible evidence. What DNA science actually demonstrates is often far more complex than tabloid stories suggest. Genetic testing can identify biological relationships with high accuracy, but it cannot explain every aspect of family's history, emotions, experiences, or personal connections. Family identity is shaped by more than genetics alone. Nevertheless, the fascination continued because people believed science might reveal truths that years of interviews and media reports could not. As technology advanced, public interest in celebrity DNA stories grew rapidly. The Jackson family remained a frequent subject because of their extraordinary fame and cultural influence. Some observers hoped genetic science would provide definitive answers to long-standing rumors. Others simply found the intersection of celebrity culture and modern genetics fascinating. Regardless of the motivation, DNA became part of the broader conversation surrounding the family's legacy. In many cases, however, the most significant revelation was not a shocking secret, but a reminder of how genetics actually works. People often expect DNA results to produce dramatic discoveries, Yet scientific findings frequently reinforce known family connections rather than overturn them. This contrast between expectation and reality played a major role in the public reaction to stories involving the Jackson family. Headlines promised earth-shattering revelations, while the underlying science often told a more measured story. Still, the topic remained compelling because it touched on universal questions about identity and belonging. Everyone has a family history. Everyone inherits traits from previous generations. The Jackson family's experience simply unfolded under a level of public attention unlike almost any other. As a result, discussions about DNA became a way for people to explore broader questions about heritage, relationships, and truth. The public wanted certainty, but science rarely delivers answers as simple as tabloid headlines suggest. Instead, genetics offers evidence that must be interpreted carefully within a larger context. Over time, this reality became increasingly clear. The most meaningful lessons from DNA research were not sensational revelations, but deeper insights into how families are connected across generations. For the Jackson family, whose story has been told and retold for decades, that distinction matters. While rumors continue to circulate, verified information remains far more important than speculation. The idea that DNA changed everything makes for a powerful headline, but the truth is often more nuanced. Rather than completely rewriting history, genetic science helps clarify specific questions while leaving many personal and emotional aspects of family life beyond its reach. In the end, what DNA revealed about the Jackson family was less about shocking secrets and more about the growing ability of science to examine questions that once seemed impossible to answer. And for a family that has spent decades at the center of public attention, even that was enough to capture the world's imagination. As the years passed, interest in the Jackson family's genetic history continued to grow because people viewed DNA as the ultimate source of proof. In a world filled with rumors, changing stories, and conflicting accounts, scientific evidence appeared objective and trustworthy. Yet many people misunderstood what DNA testing could actually accomplish. Genetic testing can identify biological relationships, estimate ancestry, and reveal inherited traits, but it cannot automatically confirm every claim made about a family's past. This misunderstanding helped fuel countless online theories involving the Jackson family. Articles frequently suggested that hidden truths had been uncovered, even when little new information had actually emerged. The public fascination was driven by the belief that somewhere within the family's history existed a secret waiting to be discovered. Because Michael Jackson was one of the most famous people who ever lived, curiosity about his family naturally reached extraordinary levels. Questions that would normally remain private became subjects of international debate. Discussions about genetics, inheritance, and ancestry were often mixed with celebrity gossip, creating a combination that attracted enormous attention. Over time, some observers began examining family photographs, comparing physical features, and speculating about inherited characteristics. Scientists generally caution against drawing conclusions based solely on appearance, because genetic inheritance is far more complicated than many people realize. Children may strongly resemble one parent, a grandparent, or even more distant relatives. Genetic traits can appear unexpectedly across generations, making visual comparisons an unreliable method of determining relationships. This is one reason DNA testing became so influential. Unlike speculation based on appearance, genetic analysis provides measurable evidence regarding biological connections. However, even scientific findings require careful interpretation. The media often prefers simple narratives, while genetics frequently produces complex answers. In the case of the Jackson family, many stories exaggerated the significance of genetic questions because dramatic headlines attracted attention. Yet despite decades of rumors, the broader reality remained unchanged. The Jackson family's impact on music, entertainment, and popular culture was never dependent on genetic controversies. Their legacy was built through talent, hard work, and cultural influence rather than speculation about DNA. As interest in family history and ancestry testing continues to expand around the world, the Jackson family remains an example of how science and celebrity culture can intersect in unexpected ways. DNA may answer certain biological questions, but it cannot fully explain a family story. Relationships are shaped by experiences, shared history, personal bonds, and countless factors that exist beyond genetics. The fascination with DNA in the Jackson family ultimately reflects a deeper human desire to understand identity and origins. People want clear answers about who they are and where they come from. They hope science can provide certainty in areas where mystery once existed. While genetics has undoubtedly transformed our understanding of inheritance and family relationships, it has also demonstrated that human stories are rarely as simple as a headline suggests. The Jackson family's story remains one of the most remarkable in entertainment history, not because of any single DNA revelation, but because of the extraordinary journey that turned an ordinary family into a global cultural phenomenon. And that legacy continues to shape conversations long after the rumors have faded.